We're here in beautiful sunny Brisbane today for the 2022 federal election. We're going to ask people what they think of politics. So what's your name?
Anne.
Anne, okay, Anne, and obviously you're voting for Labor.
Yep.
So how come you're voting for Labor this year?
I've always voted for Labor.
Always voted for Labor?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the reason for that?
I think a tradition is something, and I like their values are similar to mine. Yes, that's where I'm comfortable.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And what would you say is your biggest concern for Australia's future?
Oh gosh, it's a hard one. There's a few, isn't there? Environment's certainly in there.
Yep.
That's the most important one, I think.
Okay.
Keeping the air clear, keeping everything,
Yep.
water clean, all that sort of stuff.
So Geraldine, who are you voting for today?
I'm voting for IMOP, Informed Medical Options Party.
Okay, and what do they do?
What do they do? They search for truth. The truth underlying all the hypocrisy,
Okay.
all the media lies, all the propaganda from the government. They look for the underlying scientific truths behind the pandemic,
Okay, right.
the so-called pandemic.
Right, okay.
And they seek to revive our democracy, to get our democracy back.
Yep.
Little do most of the country know that our democracy is very fast being killed off, and we are becoming a dictatorship very fast.
Right, okay.
So
All right. And so what's your biggest concern about Australia's future, would you say?
that we are becoming a dictatorship, and there will be forced vaccines
Okay.
and there pretend pandemics
Okay.
and more propaganda.
Meg, why do you support the Greens Party?
I've been in the Greens at least 13 years now, and I was in the Labor Party, and I was Labor for Refugees when I was in the Labor Party, and I joined the Greens because the Labor no longer had a refugee policy that was appealing to me, so I joined the Greens. And also I was also an environmentalist, so I like their environmental policies too.
Okay.
The good thing about the Greens now is that they've got a whole range of policies, and so we needed to do that to become the third biggest. We will be the third biggest party after today's results.
Yep.
And to do that, we need a full range of policies. So I love our policies. I love that we're promoting dental into Medicare, because I think, as my sister just said, dental is a big divider.
Yeah.
It is. When you're watching Indigenous people interviewed on TV, you see teeth missing. You see
It's unaffordable.
it's unaffordable. You see single mums with small children, and you see it's obvious that dental needs to be in Medicare.
Okay.
The other thing we want in Medicare is mental health,
Yeah.
because I think if COVID showed us anything, that we have a absolutely massive percentage of our population now who suffer from mental health problems. Yeah. So and the mental health under the public hospital system, it has just been so hard to get a position in a hospital, to go in as a patient or to see a psychologist. So we think that's a huge area that needs to be improved.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I just want to ask another question. What's your biggest concerns for Australia's future?
Well, it has to be climate change, because if we don't have climate, if we don't have a livable planet, then we can't have a world. And I have grandchildren, and I work very hard on climate action because I love my grandchildren. I want them to have a planet that is livable.
Yeah. What's your name?
Melissa.
Melissa. Okay, Melissa. And voting for One Nation, how come you decided to vote for them this year?
Well, actually, I'm here for all the freedom-fighting minor parties.
Okay.
So there's 4 in our electorate.
Yep.
So there's One Nation, Liberal Democrats, UAP, and IMOP.
Okay.
So yeah, so
IMOP.
supporting all of those parties.
All right, yep. And and what would you say is your biggest concern for the future of Australia?
I think we're going too far left.
Okay.
So we're going. So I used to vote Liberal, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
They're just going too far to the left. So
Right.
more globalisation, more following global politics, more World Health Organisation rules and directives, and we just don't really need that.
Okay. And what is would you say the bad thing about going too far to the left?
Well, going too far to the left really means you end up outside of normal Australian values. You lose your freedoms. There's more mandates. There's more lockdowns. There's all of those sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay. So that concerns you
And
because of the pandemic, obviously.
Well, yeah, the pandemic and the political correctness. Like you can't have a different opinion to the government anymore, and that's wrong.
Right. Name, mate?
Kim.
Okay. And Kim, obviously supporting the Greens. So why are you supporting them today?
I'm really just worried about the future for my children, to be honest. So things like climate change and housing affordability, TAFE and uni being free, and also really concerned about the influence of Fox on the media and the political influence that they have. So, yeah.
So you kind of answered them, but what would you say is your biggest concern for Australia's future?
The biggest concern is definitely climate change. Yeah, 100%.
Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate it. What's your name?
Cyan.
Cyan. What's your biggest concern for Australia's future, would you say?
I don't know, maybe global warming?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your name?
Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. And who'd you vote for this election?
Voted, as I have done for quite some time, for the Liberal Party, basically.
Yeah. And how come you vote for the Liberal Party?
I think all human beings and all political parties are flawed, but in my view the Liberal Party and the Conservative forces generally have the best policies and have the best record for how Australia has been governed.
Okay.
Better than the others.
Right, okay. And what would you say is your biggest concern for Australia's future?
I'm rather concerned about the way Australia is headed overall. People are very rootless. There's no solid foundations for our society, and I do think that things are crumbling. I put a lot of this down to lack of a firm philosophical basis in people's lives. For me, I have a religious faith. I'm Christian, and I believe that Australia has had a Christian heritage. Yes, it's flawed, I know that, and lots of bad things have been done, but it really has been something very important that is rapidly being eroded, and I think the future is very uncertain for many, many people, especially young people.